Creative is hot right now. Creative is super hot. You can wholesale creative for a premium. You know, my wholesale partners, we're really just killing it right now with not keeping them, but wholesaling them. Nathan, you asked about the calculator.
I actually pulled it up because I have a deal I'm looking at and I just want to make sure I'm using it right. I'll just do a quick scenario because I have a buyer that likes mobile homes. So I got this sent to me and I'm like, let me run the numbers and see if it works for one of my buyers.
Yep.
So they're asking 30K, optional seller financing, 15K down, 500 a month. And usually mobile homes have a lot fee, which I don't see on here, but I was going to find out. So what I would do here, so we would go purchase price would be 30.
Yep.
Down payment 15.
Yep.
Commission, there's no commission.
Yep.
Closing costs, it's usually for something this cheap, like 1,000.
Yep.
Assignment fee, this seems to be going off of.
It's a calculator, yeah. So you can override it or come back to it in a minute.
We'll come back to it. So improvements, let's say it needs 5,000 because it's a mobile home, other 0. So the total acquisition cost to get into this for the buyer is 69 at the moment. Yep. Seller carry, there isn't, I would assume there's no seller carry at this deal.
Well, no, there is, because you're buying it for 30 and putting 15 down. So your loan's for 15.
Got it. You're right. My bad. So when you said earlier, they want to be in their entry cash. They want it to be 20% or less of entry level. Is that what you were saying?
Under 25% is better. Over 25%, it's a big ding against your deal.
So just to make sure I understand how to do the math there. So it's entry fee and then divided by your entry. Would it be the purchase price total? Is that what it is?
No. So you would take your entry fee divided by your total acquisition.
Okay, your entry fee divided by your total acquisition, which is here.
Yep.
I accidentally messed up right here. So if we put that into a percentage, let's see. So that'd be 78%. So obviously it's thrown off because of the assignment fee, but you would look at this and be like, oh yeah, this is not a good deal.
Right now, yeah, your assignment. So just override your assignment fee and put it at like whatever, 75 or 5 grand. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So for some reason it's still high, right? And it's probably
because the down payment is half of the price. So you're at 50% before you've even done anything.
All right. It's because it's such a low purchase price.
It's such a low purchase price. Yeah. So, I mean, paying 50% down on a creative deal, that's not really a good deal.
No, because you can go get a loan on it.
Yeah.
Well, this is a mobile home, but mostly loans, it's like you can get in at 15, 20.
I mean, there may be an exception with this deal because it is a mobile home and you just can't even get financing for mobile homes. So it's better than nothing that they'll finance it. So it may still work for the right investor because they're like, hey, I can't get financing anyway. And a $15,000 loan's better than all cash. The idea behind this is you really want to be thinking about that entry fee against the total acquisition and trying to keep that low enough. And that's where you can start to carve out some big assignments. So like, let's just say, change your purchase price right now, just for fun, put it at 130. And then let's just say your down payment was, 5,000, for example.
So now it makes sense.
Oh my gosh. Now bump your assignment fee up to 15. See what I mean? You're like, you can get away with it because you're telling the buyer, dude, you're all in at 17% down.
Right. And you're coming in here and you're saying gross rent, that's obviously manipulates everything, like determines if it's a good deal. Let's say like the rent on this thing, you can only get 1,500.
Now, one thing I do differently than I see a lot of creative people is they just give you gross rent against PITI. Right. I like to give the total operating expense. So management fee, reserve, and then see that number there, 50% next to your NOI. You want to bring that in at 70%. So then don't change it there. Go up to your management fees and all that. Mm-hmm. So what's happened here is your HOA is really high. Get rid of that HOA number.
Yeah, I changed that because lot rents are usually high, but forget that.
Let's just say you take that out for the moment. Now you're at 70 because typical rentals, they account 30%, sometimes up to 40% in operating expenses.
Gotcha.
So as long as you're bringing it in at 30, it's reasonable, it's believable, it's fair. So now what you're saying is look, my rents are 2,500. I've got some ongoing operating expenses. those are coming in at 30%, which means my NOI is 1746 monthly. And then if you go down lower on the other chart, so if you take your net operating income of 1746, then you've got your debt service.
Debt service 671.
And that's carrying it from your debt service box over at C20.
Right.
Yeah, right there. There you go. Yep. And that's based on a 125 loan at a 5% rate. So let's say you change your rate to 4%. Go ahead and change that to 4.
Better.
Boom. Let's change your amortization from 30 to 40. Boom. Look at that. So look what happened. You know, you lower your debt service, which increases your cash flow.
Got it. Okay. And just to make sure, we want to keep this at 70%. So once it drops down to like 50 or below 70, it's we want to watch out for that as well.
I mean, it is what it is. So if there's like, let's say there is a lot fee and stuff like that, you got to put it in there. But what you don't want to do is you don't want to pretend like there aren't operating expenses and put zero operating expenses, like factor it in, because anybody who's going to do a rental is going to factor in operating expenses.
Of course.
So just give it to them. I'm just saying, like, sometimes you don't know, like, I don't know what it is. Just bring it in at 70 and you'll be reasonable.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause I see a ton of creative deals coming my way now, and they're asking for half down or like tons of money down, which destroys the cash flow, right?
Yeah.
Like it makes it very difficult. So I
it
think
hurts the cash flow. Well, it doesn't hurt the cash flow. It hurts the entry fee.
Right.
And it hurts your cash. It does hurt your cash on cash.
Cash on cash return. That's what, yeah.
Yeah. Like, look at this one. Right now it's at 56%.
Yes, this one. That's great, right? Like that's
freaking amazing. Anything double digits, good. So that's insane. And the reason why is because think about it. You've got a really low cash into the deal and you got really high cash flow.
Yeah, the rents are high. If you can get into a deal that rents for 2,500 and you just had to bring in 5, yeah.
Yeah, those are probably unrealistic numbers.
Right.
You know what I mean? But yeah, that's the idea there.
Okay. Now this is good because again, I get tons of these sent to me and I'm like, man, how are these people making it work? And they could just be trying whatever they can and blasting it out, but you definitely want to make sure you're making it work for yourself or anyone else.
Here's the cool part. Nowhere in here are we looking at ARV. Let's say that, go back up to scroll up a little bit to that 130 price. Your total acquisition right now based on these numbers is 151. The as is value could be 120 and no one cares because they're not buying for value. They're buying for the other things: cash flow, cash on cash, tax benefit, low interest rate. That's why a buy and hold wants this deal. What it allows you, the reason why I'm bringing that up is because all of a sudden we shift our mindset from like, everything's about ARV, everything's about value to no, that doesn't matter anymore. It's all about the terms. What are the terms?
Right.
And that's where this is game changer, because you could wholesale this deal for $15,000 and they're paying 20 grand over value and you still wholesale it for 15 grand.
No, that's good.
Because of the terms.
Do you, from your perspective, still handle a sub 2 deal in the event that the interest rate's higher than that, but it's still cash flows?
That's going to be a ding against you, right? So think about it like a grading scale. And in creative finance, there's about 9 or 10 things. And every one of them, you're going to get a score. Let's go 0, terrible, 10, amazing. You know, a 2% interest rate would be amazing score. A 9% interest rate would be a terrible score. But maybe there's other things going on that will outweigh that negative score. Like it's got a ton of cash flow, or the price is really low, or the amortization is 50 years instead of 30 years, right? So that's the thing. Creative finance is not all one thing. It could be zero down. Zero down will offset a higher interest rate. So how does everything play together? If everything sucks, like high interest rate, high down payment, high price, high, no deal. No one's going to want it. So everything kind of comes together. There's give and take, I guess, right? So I don't know. It could kill your deal, being that it's a high interest rate. Generally speaking, you want to be, below 6. Why below 6? Because the market rate right now is 7 and 8. Everything kind of has to factor in to determine if you've got a deal or not.